ओम शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
on control.
मदाचार्य मीडे भज गोविंदम गोविंदम भज मूढ़मते संप्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति दुष्कृंकरणे मूढजहि धनागम तृष्णां कुरु सद्बुद्धिं मनसि विकृष्णां यल्लभसे निज कर्मोपातं वित्तं तेन विनोदय चित्तं नारीस्तनभरनाभिदेशं दृष्ट्वा मागामोहावेशम् एतन्मां सवसादिविकारं मनसि विचिन्तय वारं वारं नलिनीदलगतजलमतितरलं तत्त्वज्जीवितमतिशयचपलं विद्धि व्याध्यभिमानग्रस्तं लोकं शोकहतं च समस्तं यावद्वित्तोपार्जनसक्तः तावन्निजपरिवारो रक्तः पश्चाज्जीवति जर्जरदेहे वार्ता कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे यावत् पवनो निवसति देहे तावत् पृच्छति कुशलं गेहे गतवति वायौ देहापाये भार्या बिभ्यति तस्मिन् काये अर्थमनर्थं भावय नित्यं नास्ति ततः सुखलेशः सत्यं पुत्रादपि जनभाजां भीतिः सर्वत्रैषा विहिता रीतिः बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः तरुणस्तावत् तरुणीरक्तः वृद्धस्तावत् चिन्तामग्नः परमे ब्रह्मणि कोऽपि न लग्नः काते कान्ता कस्ते पुत्रः संसारोऽयमतीव विचित्रः कस्य त्वं वा कुत आयातः तत्त्वं चिन्तय तदिह भ्रातः मा कुरु धनजन यौवन गर्वं हरति निमेषात् कालः सर्वं मायामयमिदमखिलं बुद्ध्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा विनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशापायुः तत्सङ्गत्वे निस्सङ्गत्वं निस्सङ्गत्वे निर्मोहत्वं निर्मोहत्वे निश्चलतत्त्वं निश्चलतत्त्वे जीवन्मुक्तिः। Therefore, भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते. So in the last class we saw that Shankara is emphasizing on the importance of satsanga. So what is the benefit of satsanga? Why satsanga? Because only when you have satsanga, then you will have nissanga, disassociation with whatever you are already attached. So the easiest way to get detached from what you are already attached to is to get attached to something else which will really help you to grow. So what is the benefit of satsanga is nissanga, detachment. Of course, even in that detachment, you are actually detaching yourself from Arthakama and you are attaching yourself to Sangha, Satsanga. But that attachment also will fall off later on. Why I am saying that there are people who get attached to their gurus, you know. Even attachment towards guru is attachment. The Nissangatve, what happens? Nirmoha. So when you are in good company, when you are with people who are also striving for Nissanga, and when you are with a guru who teaches you about the real nature of this world, about your body, about your mind, about everything, about the Srishti, then your moha will be removed. Nirmoha. What is the moha? Moha is delusion. The delusion that whatever I have been holding on to is nityam, this everything that I see, everything that I smell, everything that I hear, everything that I grasp, is panchendriyas, and including the panchendriyas, even the panchendriyas, everything is anitya. So that the moha will go away. The delusion that this is real will go away. So when the moha is gone, then there is nischala tattva. Then you understand the truth which never changes, a truth that is not bound by time. Satyam is that which is not bound by time. Truth cannot keep changing every time. If truth keeps changing, then it is not truth. So today something is true and tomorrow something else is true. The same, whatever I considered as true today, whatever was proved as true today, it doesn't seem to be true. It seems to be false tomorrow, which means it is not true. The truth which is subject to change is not truth. The truth which you are going to learn through satsanga from a guru is nischala, that which doesn't change, nischala. And because of that knowledge, then the mind is also nischala. The mind is also peaceful. There is calmness because there is no more longing, there is no more pressure, there is no more fear, there is no more insecurity. So you are peaceful. When you know the truth, you are always peaceful, right? Nischala tattve jivan mukti. So you are, even when you are living in this world, you are free. So it doesn't mean once you know the truth, the body will fall and you have to die and everything around you will disappear. No need. Even while you will continue to be in the same world, same body, same mind, but still you are not affected by all those things. You are free, even much. Where you felt bound, there itself you are free. That is the beauty of Atma Jnana. You don't have to go anywhere. While living in the body, you are bound. While living in the body, you are free. How? The big difference is one is ignorance, the other is knowledge. Then he continues. So now we have to visualize that Shankara is walking through the streets of Kashi and he's meeting different types of people. He's just talking as he walks along. Hey, bro, what are you doing? Brataha is bro. Hey, brataha means hey, bro. Nowadays we say bro, right? Hey bro, what are you doing? Seek a guru. Disassociate yourself from all these things. How long you are going to chase all these things? So he's talking into one by one. Then next is saying, Vayasi gate kaha kama vikaraha shushke nire kasara kshine vitte kah parivaraha jnate tatve kah samsaraha. Vayasi gate kaha kama vikaraha. Kama vikaraha means lust. Lust towards anything. It could be wealth, it could be opposite gender, it could be money, it could be anything, anything you name it. Lust. So what good is lust when youth has gone? Because everything you can enjoy only when your body is strong, when you're youthful, right? What is special about being youthful? You have all the energy, you have a very fit body, indriyas are strong and really functioning very well. So that is how anything you eat gets digested also at that age. So what is good? What good is lust when the youth is gone? So even if you continue to have lust after you become old, you are only going to long and repent and feel disappointed and angry and all that because you are not able to. You don't have a body which will really through which you will be able to enjoy all those pleasures. So this lust is of no use when the youth is gone. That's why generally say this is the age to enjoy everything. Now only you can enjoy and all that. See, there is some truth in that. Definitely, there is nothing wrong. That is true. If you want to travel, travel everywhere, go around, do everything when your body is really cooperating with all your desires. But then again, dharma has to be there. In keeping with dharma, seek everything. So what good is lust when youth has fled? And where is the lake when water has dried up? Shushke neere kaha kasaraha. Neer, water, shushka, has dried up. Then what is the use of the lake? The lake has no value if water is not there, right? Shine vitte kaf parivaraha. All your friends, relatives, fun, partying, vacation, going, family get together. Everything is meaningful only when you have wealth. So once your condition changes financially also, people don't want to be associated with you because everybody is afraid that you may be an extra burden. What if this will ask for money? But as long as you have everything, people will definitely be with you. Why? Not because they want your money, not necessarily, because they know that you are on your own. You won't be a pain, you won't be a source of pain for them. You are not going to go and come and sit in their house. So that much they know. So they're okay. If you spend for them, they're okay. But then the minute you're not able to spend for them, okay, that was also fine. Hey, come on, yeah, my situation is not so good. I can't really, you know, take you all to a restaurant or a movie and all that. Oh, it's okay, bhaiya, it's okay, baby, it's fine. Then he said, but then the minute you go and say, look, my condition is not good, I need some money, then not everybody is going to respond the way you want them to, right? Definitely there is a difference. Shine vitte kaha parivaraha, when the wealth is gone, who is going to be there? What is the use of people? Then only you know actually the use of people. There's no use of people, that's what he's meaning. It becomes meaningless. Similarly, jnate tatve kaha samsaraha. So once you know the truth, in the previous verse he said, na, he's continuing with that. The previous Nischala tattve jivan mukti. Nirmohatve nischala tattvam, nischala tattve jivan mukti. So once you know the tattva, once you know the truth, once you know essence of everything, once you know who you are, then there is no samsara. When the tattva, when the truth is known, where is samsara? There is no samsara, there is no sukha, there is no dukkha, there is no papa, there is no punya, there is no karta, there is no karma. Samsara, sagara dries up. It's not there. So vayasi gate means when the youth is gone. Okay, kama vikara means expressions of. So far Shankara pointed out what is nitya and what is anitya. Okay. So far, what is nitya vastu, anitya vastu. The nitya vastu is the tattva. Once you know the truth, there is no samsara. Once you know what is nitya, once you know what is the real nitya vastu, there is no samsara. Only when you take the anitya vastu as true, then there is samsara. Then there is no samsara. So all your body, mind, senses, these are not nitya, they are anitya, they are subject to time. How much ever you try to preserve them, they will ultimately they will deteriorate. Can't protect them forever. They definitely, how much ever exercise you do, you go to the gym, you do yoga, and everything is there, but still it doesn't function the way it used to function when you were 16 or 17 or 20. The capability comes down. Your friends and relatives, they are also not nitya. Not because they are bad or something. Everybody. Not to say that people cheat you, people don't ungrateful and all that. We are not. That is not the point here. He is not saying like that. Just know that that's all. The truth is you are on your own. Everything is subject to change, and your wealth is not permanent. Your asset is not permanent. Everything is subject to change. The attitude, the love people have for you, it's not going to be same all the time. The pleasures that you enjoy are also not going to be the same because once your body becomes weak, whatever is giving pleasure, in fact, even if that object is capable of giving pleasure, you won't be able to enjoy it. So the degree of pleasure also changes, right? That is also there. So what gave pleasure at one time ceases to give pleasure after some time. So this has been your experience. Shankara says, hey, this has been your experience. And you have also seen the others having the same experience. Sometimes it may not be my experience, okay? Sometimes you know, oh, my friends are awesome, my relatives are not like that, my family is not like that. Everybody may think, but when you look at other people's experience, then you learn from their experience. You know, there was a time when people, parents used to give away their wealth, you know, everything. Now I have retired, my children are there to take care of me. And they'll give away everything to their children. You know, they will transfer the house in the name of the son and all that. They will do poor things. Then finally they were all chased out, thrown out. This we have seen. So even if it doesn't happen, nowadays everybody is careful, you know. Now they say, hey, keep the money, be careful. You should have your own savings. He said, don't trust children. Nowadays, people do talk that, right? We don't know what will happen. Keep some. Have a house in your own name. You should have your own apartment. A small place for yourself. So he says, you see this in everybody's life. And there are many you have seen in your life also. So now give up chasing Arthakama and surrender to Bhagavan. Govinda. Seek means what? Surrender to him. Now focus on nourishing certain values. Okay, suddenly when somebody says you give up everything and surrender to Bhagavan, it's not going to happen, right? There is a process. You require certain qualifications even to be able to do that. So he says, continues. Continues with his whipping up, okay? Kate kanta dhanagata chinta vatula tava kim nasti niyanta. Okay, vatula kim tava nasti niyanta. Trijagati त्रिजगति सज्जन संगतिरैका भवति भवार्णवतरणे नौका. Kate Kanta. Kanta means attraction. What is this attraction that you have? Kanta also means wife. Okay, Kanta, they also name the girls as Kanta. That's why generally you don't give only Kanta as a name. You either call it as Chandrakanta. You know, they'll add the brightness of Chandra, Surya Kanta, or Surya Kanti, the one who attracts Surya. Means she's a sunflower. Rajnikant and all that is there now. Kant became very popular later. The Kanta means Kantimati. We have in Tirunelveli the name of the goddess is Kantimati. Mati means Buddhi. Kanti means bright, shining. That which attracts is Kanta. So Kantimati, a bright and brilliant Buddhi. So anything that is an object of attraction is Kanta. Just like we saw anything that is an object of lust is Kama. Anything that is an object of attraction. It could be a small mobile phone or even a pen or collection of pens or collection of keychains, some attraction. So that is Kanta, that which attracts. Rather to that which you get attracted, okay? Because no object in the world has the capability to attract us. We get attracted. So that which you get attracted to, either for pleasure or for security. Mate Kanta. And see, anything that you are attracted to gives rise to Sukham and Dukkham. That's why he's asking. He's not saying why you are getting attracted to all this. Why? Because see, anyway, it is not giving you happiness, permanent happiness. Most of the time you are dukkhi, either in trying to achieve it or to protect it. So both ways there is dukkham. So this one time dukkham and one time sukham, sometimes one time sukham, dukkham, then sukham. It is not that after sukham immediately there is dukkham or immediately there is sukham. It's not like that. Sometimes dukkham seems to be 7.5 comes means dukkham seems to be for a longer time. Ashtama Shani comes means dukkham seems to be longer time. Then comes Ragu Dasha. In Ragu Dasha, you will lose your name, fame, you will earn bad name. So like this, if you see throughout your life 7.5, that is another 2.5, this Ragu Dasha will go for another 3.5. So then there will be a Shani Dasha. So nothing seems to be really oho in life. So samsara is always a mixture of sukha dukkha. In that mixture, sometimes when we buy this mixture, we look for this cashew, right? Cashew is not fully, even though they say cashew mixture, cashew will be there here and there. And you have to keep shuffling that packet to get the cashew. It's like that. Life is like that. So samsara means a life of wanting. The samsara, which is a mixture of sukha and dukkha, because there is a where you keep wanting something or the other in order to avoid dukkham and continue to have sukham. So the process itself is dukkham, right? The very process itself is painful, a lot of effort. And why the process itself starts? Why the process of seeking something also starts? Because I see myself as someone who lacks everything. I don't have, I lack this. I'm not good enough in my own vision of myself. I'm not good enough. I'm not talking about the psychological, I'm not good enough. I'm talking about the fundamental issue of I'm not good enough. Everybody has this fundamental issue of I'm not good enough. I'm not okay as I am. I have to do something else in order to be happy. It's like this sugar crystal has a fundamental problem. It thinks, not thinks, it has a delusion. Okay? A delusion that I need to become sweet. So that is how everybody is deluded. Like when the sugar crystal has a delusion of I'm not sweet, I need to look for sweet, then we laugh at the sugar crystal. But that's exactly everybody is doing. That's what Shankara, but Shankara doesn't laugh at us. He just pities us. So I like it's a life where you see yourself as a lacking person. So you're constantly seeking this constant search for sukham. Sukham is happiness. Okay? What is sukham? Sukham is once you have sukham, you're happy. So this constant search for happiness from something which is incapable of giving you that is called samsara. Constant search. So that's why human being's life is a mishra. Mishra means a mixture of sukha dukkha. Sukha dukkha mishram is samsaram. And samsaram in Tamil Nadu, especially in deep south, they will introduce their wife as this is my samsara. Samsaranga. Samsara. What does samsara mean? She is his whole life. You know? She's sukha, she's dukkha, she's everything. She's my happiness. Nice way of saying, but sounds nice, but really doesn't. It's not a right word to introduce one's wife as samsara. Otherwise, as if he doesn't have any samsara at all. So generally, samsara means a mixture of sukha dukkha. So my wife is a mixture of sukha dukkha. So I introduce her as my samsaram. Kate kanta. What is this constant attraction towards objects and towards people? Everything. Because people gives you feel secure when you have people. So again, once again, I have to clarify. Shankara is not saying you should not have friends or you should not be in company of people. He's only saying they are also anitya. They are source of sukha, dukkha, it's a mixture of both. So there is something else which will really free you from this being a wanting person. Why don't you seek that? Dhanagata chinta and dhana nimitta chinta. Dhanagata means nimitta with reference to dhanam also you have chinta. Chinta is anxiety, worry with reference to wealth. So what is the anxiety with reference to wealth? What you don't have, you have to acquire. That is the anxiety. Now I don't have, or whatever I have is not sufficient enough. So I have to look for it. So you have to work for it, and you work for it, and that is one thing. And then after you acquire it, once you accomplish whatever you need, then again you have to work for protecting it. So both. You have to acquire, and then you have to work to protect whatever you have acquired. That is called yoga kshema. Yoga means they will say no, nalla yoga. Nalla yoga. Yoga means someone who has acquired a lot of wealth. Yoga pa. Not wealth, anything. Whatever you desire when you get, it's called yoga. Then kshema is then you have to maintain. It should not leave you, right? So generally when you say kshemama keda, kshemama, they will ask. So kshemama means just everything, whatever you have acquired, are you able to maintain it? Is it with you? Means what is that? Your family. Your family didn't leave you. Kshemama, you are maintaining. No, your friends didn't leave you. Wealth didn't leave you, right? Whatever you have acquired, you have it with you, right? Kshemamna, they will ask. Both ways, if you see, you have chinta. So what is this constant anxiety with reference to yoga and kshema? Vatula. Vatula means a person of distracted attention, whose attention is always distracted attention means is always looking for something, right? The person is always looking for something. You may say, no, I have a responsibility, so I'm looking. He's not talking about responsibility. Shankara is not talking about, he's not saying, so be responsible, don't care, just dump your family and he didn't say that. He said, do, but draw a line. Don't stress yourself. Have some leisure. That is what he's saying. Hey, Vatula, a person of distracted attention, one who is jumping from one desire to the other and trying to fulfill it, literally means, uh, Vatula literally means, crazy fellow. What are you doing? That is the actual meaning he's saying. Because he's saying Mudaha, right? So Vatula also should be in keeping with Mudaha. Mudaha means, hey, what are you doing? Yeah. Stupid fellow. Yet, he says, Kim Tavanasti Niyanta. Hey Vatula, you keep jumping here and there. Don't you have anyone to lead you, to guide you? Put some sense into your head and make you sit in one place and really think and see the truth. Don't you have anyone? You don't have anybody to do that for you. So what does he mean by that? Don't you have anyone? Means don't you have a guru? You have not yet not sought a guru. You have not found a guru yet. Because if you have a guru, then he will guide you. He will tell you how to lead your life. He will put you on the right track. He will give you the proper teaching. He will make you see the truth of things. So don't you have a guru? How long are you going to wander all over and waste your time? Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam tattva jeevitam atishaya chapal. So how long are you going to waste your time? Vinyaminyo sayankalaha. The day becomes evening, then the morning becomes night, the seasons keep going. How long? How long are you going to postpone that? How long are you chase and run after things? There will be no end to it. Unless you say enough, it's not going to happen. You have to say enough. Otherwise, this will never happen. Seeking a guru or seeking Shastra is never going to happen. You are looking for security and placed it in the wrong place. Whatever you have acquired has its value. To some extent, yeah. Definitely, a house protects you. You need a house. But then, how big you want the house to be? You want to buy a house for status. You want to buy a vehicle for a status. Then you want to have a mobile for status. You want to have money for status. All those interiors that you are doing, people spend time just for that, right? You call it, you also justify it as artistic, aesthetic, and all that. We give names for all that, right? We are good at giving some nice name and cheat ourselves. So there is no end to it. We keep looking. First, you wanted in one room and one kitchen, everybody was living. Then it became 2 bedroom. Then it became 2 bedroom with balcony and the office space. Then it became 3 bedroom. Now you have 4 bedrooms. So it doesn't seem to be enough, right? So why do you always have anxiety? Then you have to earn, and then you have to pay the EMI. Then then you suddenly you're not able to pay the EMI. Now you want to give up whatever you acquired. That also is pain, right? Definitely, it's very painful. So why do you always have anxiety? Why do you think you are in charge? Why do you think that you are always going to be there forever and do everything? So anytime, Yama will come. Samprapte sannihite kale nahi nahi rakshati. All these things are not going to protect you. And goes Savada. Who goes? Things don't go. We go. You're gone. So you have the right to try, but you can try, you can earn, you can do all that, but do it happily. It should not be a pain. It should not be a burden. It should not go to an extent of giving you sugar and BP and lower backache and all those things. Whatever I acquire, I should be happy with it. And don't try to prove yourself to yourself and also to others. You are stuck in the ocean of samsara, which means it goes on like that. Trijagati, in this three world, there is only one boat. Eka Nauka means what? Eka Nauka means no other gati. For what? Tarane, for crossing. Crossing what? Bhavarnava. Arnava means ocean. Arnav. Arnav means ocean. Bhava means samsara. Well, to cross this samsara sagara, sometimes they say samsara sagara, bhava sagara, all this. See, if you have to cross this ocean, there is only one go, only one means. That is Sajjana Sangati. Okay, association of Sajjana. So be associated with wise people. That's why we go and meet acharyas, right? So many times we go to Sringeri or Kanchi or Puri or many other mats are there. No, acharyas are there. But not everybody can go and sit and learn from them. So if you want to go and study from in such mud, then you have to leave everything and go because it's a commitment. Studying a shastra is a commitment which cannot be done whenever one has time. It's a committed life. So you have to leave your family and go and study. Then only it really Shravana has to be done continuously from morning till evening. Shravanam has to be continuous. I'm not talking about Veda Pathashala. Veda Pathashala is Adhyanam. That is different. I'm talking about Atma Jnanam. So Shravana and Manana and Nididhyasana cannot be done being within the same environment. You have to be away from there. Then you have clarity, then the knowledge becomes, clarity is really strong. Nobody can shake you. Then you become prepared for Atma Jnana. So the preparation itself needs being away from certain things. So this, from the samsara sagara, this satsanga, sajjana. So, but then is it a waste of time to go and meet the acharyas? Means no, definitely not. They do give us, they talk about Upanishads, the truth of the Upanishads. Now and then they give lectures. I won't say lecture, lecture is not a pravachan. And when you go and do namaskara, they say, they give you ashirvada. So the ashirvada of such Mahatmas is absolutely necessary for us. But ashirvada is required. Sometimes we are not able to earn that punyam. But when they bless us, then we earn that punyam easily. So acharyas, we need to go and do namaskara to the acharyas, seek their blessings. They may not say anything also. Sometimes they will just look at you and just raise their hand and do. That itself is enough. So Sajjana. Here he is not talking about just seeking the blessings of acharyas. He is talking about a guru with whom you will live and study. Okay, the Niyanta he is talking about is a guru from whom you will study. A guru from a Guru Parampara. So there is only one boat that can help you cross the ocean of samsara. Only Guru. So Sajjana means here Guru only. You can't have a group discussion about Atma Jnana. How can all 10 ignorant people sit together and get some knowledge? Somebody has to, a knowledgeable person, one who knows the truth alone can teach you. Somebody, they asked me, Swamiji has this Bhagavad Gita home study group. Bhagavad Gita home study group is a compilation of whatever he taught us during our 3-year course. Shankar Bhashya, and also many other 3 year courses. Everything is put together because Swamiji wanted people to be able to sit at home. People are not able to travel everywhere all the time. So people mistook it as self-study. Bhagavad Gita home study means I buy the book and sit at home and study on my own. Or group study. 10 people come together and sit and study, then we will understand. That was not the purpose of Bhagavad Gita home study. Videorum Gitopadesham Intinti Bhagavad Gita. That was in Telugu also is there, in Tamil it is there, in Gujarati is there, in Hindi also it is there, translated. People who are not exposed to Shastra are not supposed to sit together and study. Group study means you need to have a teacher and 10 of you sit together and you follow the book and the teacher will explain whatever is there in the home study, whatever Swamiji has taught. That is called group study. Group study is not each ignorant sitting together and discussing and trying to find their own meaning and interpretation for Bhagavad Vachanam and the commentary and also what Swamiji is saying. It's not right. You need to have someone who knows the truth. So why this samsara is always referred to as Sagara, Arnava, ocean and all that? Because in ocean there is always the high tide and the low tide. Sukha, Dukha, Labha, Nashta is there, right? Then in between kuti sukha, kuti labha, big waves, small waves, then huge tides, and there are dangerous creatures in the ocean. And also wonderful creatures in the ocean. We really enjoy them also. But most of the time you are exhausted swimming there. Because you have to fight all the tides, all the waves. Sharks are there, snakes are there, jellyfish is there, octopus is there. Different types of people and situations, right? So you have to always be alert, all the time being alert. So there is fear of protecting oneself all the time. So most of the time you are drowning, you are tired, at times you drown. You are tired, you are scared, you are alone, helpless, and you are suffering. And you are holding on to things which is incapable of really keeping you afloat, incapable of helping you reach the shore. Because that is also subject to time. Whatever you are holding on to is also subject to time. It will also deteriorate. It will also leave you. Sometimes it can't really help you. It's not its fault. Sometimes we hold on to things which is really incapable of really protecting me, and we blame the other person or the other object. So whatever you are holding on to appears to really help you to cross the ocean. Sometimes people just float and they are happy. Life is over with that. Some people are really blessed. They have a lot of punyam. They just hold on to something and life is smooth. Really smooth for them. One janma is over. There's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing to ridicule them or to be ashamed of such a life. It's okay. So many janmas. We'll see in one more janma. We always have hope, Nothing is lost. That's the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. Okay, one janma gone. Okay, come on, next. So, some people are really blessed, really blessed to have a very, very peaceful life, very loving people. That is Devanugraha. Some Purva Janma Krita Punyam, definitely. Ishvara Anugraha is there. Doesn't mean others don't have Anugraha. Others didn't earn enough. And I told there is a lot of Sanchita Karma is there. From that Sanchita Karma, few have fructified. And whatever I got today is only this much. Maybe next time it will be better. But I do not know what is there in my Sanchita. So what do I do now? Now itself I am being careful. Now itself I make the effort to earn that punyam, to be prayerful, to be grateful, and seek a guru and start the Shastra study at a very young age. Whether I understand it or not, at least I keep going, I make it a habit. and make it my priority. So anyway, what was, yeah, the samsara. Some people, they are really have a very peaceful life and they are contented also. Really great, extremely wonderful life. But here Shankara is referring not only one Janma, which she's going to say again later. Okay, but again you are going to be born, right? How do you know it's going to be the same? Once again you are going to start from ABCD there. So why it is again and again and again into this samsara? Even Janana Marna is also samsara, right? Why are you getting stuck in this? This is also, this Janma is also Anitya. The Sukha, if you say, I had a wonderful life, I'm so peaceful, I can die happily. Yeah, you can die happily. But then when you come again, you don't know what baggage you're going to have next time, what is going to be packed for you. So don't you have any intention of crossing this ocean at all? Don't get fooled. Oh, this life was amazing, so next time also it will be amazing. No. Okay, this time I had suffering, next time I'll have wonderful. No, no guarantee. Because we don't know what karma I have accumulated. I have already my bank account. I don't know what is there. So Shankara is saying stop this and seek a guru. And don't try to cross this ocean on your own. You won't be able to do that. Okay? It's like I told you, I will study the Shastram on my own. Nowadays I have all the translations of the Upanishads, so I will sit and read the book. I will understand everything. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen if you read the Upanishads on your own or if you read the Bhagavad Gita on your own. You may end up dismissing it as waste, nonsense, illogical, bakwas. Then the only hope, Eka Nauka also gone. Eka Nauka also is gone now because you dismissed it. So he says, don't try to cross the ocean on your own. So you need a boat. The boat is Shastra. And the boatman is Guru. It's a Guru and Shastra. Or you can take Bhakti, Ishvara. Both are same. Okay. Then you will be able to cross this ocean. He alone can lead you. Nobody else can lead you. So none of this Artha-kama pursuit is going to save you when Kala comes. So seek a Satpursha and know the Tattva, the truth of the world. The Tattva of the world, the truth of the world, the truth of yourself, the truth of Ishvara, the truth of everything. Everything is one only. Even though we make a list of it, everything is one. Know the truth of everything. That's what he's saying. After listening to this, then what happens? One person, he decides to give up everything. Huh? So he leaves the family and he takes sannyasa, let us say. Because once you take sannyasa, you don't have to take any effort to earn money and look after the family. You are free from all responsibilities, duties. You are free from all the duties. And you're not responsible for the consequences of whatever happened. So no responsibility left. And so in those days, the Grahastha had a lot of duties, not responsibilities, duties he had. Like Vaidika Karma was there, Agnihotra Karma was there, Nitya Puja was there, 3 times Trikala Sandhya Vandanam, then many things were there. So we say, oh wonderful, I'll give up everything. I'm so stressed out, I leave everything and go, and he takes sannyasa. Then Shankara says, okay, external transformation will not do. It's not going to help you. Jatilo mundi lunchita keshaha kashayambara bahukrita veshaha pashyannapi chana pashyati mudaha udara nimittam bahukrita veshaha jatilaha. Then one person has a long hair. Then mundi, one has long hair or matted hair also. Okay, mundi means shaven head. Lunchita kesha means where they pull out their hair, right? Pluck out their hair. Kashayambara, and then they wear kashayambara means sannyasas. Bahukrita Vesha, like this there are many. You know? So in those days, if you see, there were a lot of sannyasis. People were, even now, not now. Even some 20 years back, if you go to Rishikesh and Haridwar, you will see a lot of sadhus. Like Bahukrita Vesha, like this, with the long matted hair and long hair with dadi and they all that. And they will be wearing, some will be mottai, you know, and some will be having the Rudraksha in malas, and they will have this Kamandalu and the Bhiksha Patra. It's really nice to see that. Nowadays it's gone. I don't know what happened to Rishikesh, and it has become a tourist spot, tourist attraction. Like any place which becomes a tourist attraction loses its cultural value. You lose everything when it becomes a tourist. So not much sadhus are there. In those days, there are a lot of sadhus. Many people used to live. Even in movies, we have seen he just left the family and went away. They'll go away to Kashi. In those days, no mobile phone, no nothing. You know, no communication at all. So somebody will go to Kashi after 10 years and they will say, your husband who left 20 years back, I saw him there. They will say. And then they don't even know how to go to Kashi because even traveling was not easy. Otherwise, go and bash him up and bring him. That also was not possible. Sometimes people are lazy, you know, they just leave the family because if you are a sadhu, people revere sadhus, right? And so they will get a free bhiksha, free place to stay. And if you are happy with roti and dal, then good. All 3 times somebody will be giving you roti and dal, or dal roti. In your bhiksha patra, you collect everything in one patra, mix everything, and there will be a tea shop fellow who will say, Baba, chai le lo. They will give free, and then you will have tea also. People have great respect for sadhus. So this fellow gets attracted to that life and fake sadhus. Okay. So he's saying, what is all this? Udara nimittam bahukrita veshaha. Udara means stomach, like for easy food. For that sake, so many veshas people are putting on. Even those days, even when Shankara was there, there were fake sadhus. Not nowadays. So who are they? Pashyanapi na pashyati. Even though they see the uncertainty of world, they still don't see the truth. But even while seeing, they don't see. That is what he is saying. Because even when you are a sadhu, it gives you people respect you, that gives you some ego satisfaction, right? People fall at your feet. And people are also scared. Baba, आपके मुंह से अच्छा बोलो, say something nice. Don't say anything, please just eat. And then if the Baba gets angry, they get scared, you know. Because what if he says something? What if he curses? So people do manipulate. People do. Some sadhus are bad. So he's saying this is all udaranittam, khani. Just for food's sake. You know, you are doing all this. He's not ridiculing sannyasa. Okay, Shankara is not ridiculing sannyasa. He is only talking about the Vesha. Without knowing the truth, what is the point of taking sannyasa? What is all this? You are just cheating. You are just cheating the world, and also you are being irresponsible. You are leading a lazy life. Fakeness is there. There are some people who will money babas. They won't talk because everybody has value for someone who doesn't talk. He doesn't talk much, you know. So how do you know he doesn't talk because he's a Buddhu, or it is because he really is a man of few words? There are people, Babas, who will not talk. Mummy Baba. They really look like this. Very interesting. If you go to Rishikesh, especially deep inside, you know, you have to cross the Lakshman Jula and all that and go that side. You will see different types of Babas. People value renunciation, so they put on a show. So pashyana bina pashyati. Appearance alone is not sufficient. It may sometimes occur, sometimes you become a sadhu and then you realize, my God, so much respect for a sadhu. What is so special about sannyasa? I need to know what is so special about sannyasa. And suddenly maybe if you have some punyam, you will find a guru, then you will study and you will have value for sannyasa. Sometimes a person may just continue to be a fake. So he's saying there has to be a deeper understanding of this world, deeper understanding of the self, deeper understanding of this world. Otherwise, this sannyasa is of no use. Even this body is anitya. So he points out in his verse that inner transformation should be the primary goal of life, not just externally changing something. So nitya nitya vastu viveka. This is nitya, that is anitya. Even if I do not know what is anitya, that is different because anitya, what is anitya? Sorry, what is nitya? You will know only through teaching. Only through shastra you know what is nitya. But your experience tells you what is anitya. Everything is anitya. So what is nitya? There comes the teaching. But for that, even for me to seek what is nitya, I need to understand everything is anitya, right? Everything is subject to change. That much, if I don't realize, then I won't even seek what is nitya. So nitya nitya vastu viveka means the discrimination, the buddhi, the viveka buddhi, the discriminating buddhi to know that these things are subject to change and I should not really take them too seriously. At least that much viveka is a person has, then the person will have a very peaceful life. That itself, even if you do not know what is nitya vastu, you don't know what is Brahman, you don't know what is Ishvara, you do not know what is Atmatmyanam, doesn't matter. But if you know this, that itself will give you an amount of peace, elision. That will give you that, and maybe with that leisure and that peace, it will give you, that may give you an opportunity to look for what is nitya. That is also there. But sometimes the life may be over with that also. There is no need to externally change. In those days, the sadhus never used to stay in a building. They will keep traveling. And I'll send you a picture of how they used to live in those days. I saw that picture somewhere. And they live in a mud house, small. And they'll have grass on that roof. Even with that lifestyle, people used to leave house and go. Some people have an attraction to living like that. Not because they are really a sadhus, but that life is really very attractive to live like that. So even in spite of all the discomforts, they were okay. Maybe it was a challenging, for them to be like that. But without understanding, sannyasa is of no use. But my guru, which is Swami Dayanda Saraswati, used to say, even if somebody lives like that, we should not judge them. He says, to be able to even day in and day out wear the same dress, same dress in the sense the same color, not the same. They will change, they will take bath and all that in Ganga and all, but the same color, always live in the same color. Just eat only what you get. You're not looking for anything tasty and all that. That itself is a big thing, Just imagine every day somebody makes drumstick sambar. Yesterday only you made, last week also you made this. Why you are always making only this sambar, make something else. Yesterday also same salad, today also same salad. And when you go for shopping, oh, I already have this color, I have to look for something. You already have 50 colors, 50 shades, but still you for the 51st shade, the 51st color. Just imagine for a person to live, wear that orange robe, only one Diksha Patra, no possessions, nothing. Even to live like that, it's a discipline. So the person has to be respected. Swamiji used to say, he will fall at everybody, every sadhu, anybody who comes with Kashaya Vastra, Swamiji will do Namaskar. We used to have Bhandara in Rishikesh, where we call all the sadhus for lunch. Bhandara means it's not just one sambar rice and one. Bhandara means you have to give some lot of items should be there. That is called Bhandara. And it is considered as a punya karma to give Bhandara to sadhus. So if you want, you can give Bhandara, sponsor a Bhandara in Rishikesh in our ashrams. Sadhus are invited because they don't have a permanent place to stay. They will have some small sheet, like this, and they'll be inside the small space. They'll have enough space to lie down. That's all. Like this, even today there are some sadhus, but not to the extent of how it used to be 20 years back. So we have to respect sadhus. We cannot judge them. Even to live a life like that, if I can do that at my house, if I can today just say hereafter I'm not going to really bother about the color and I'm not bothered about what I eat, I'll accept everything as Ishvara Prasada, whatever is offered to me, whatever is cooked and given, I'm happy with that. That itself is a discipline, right? That itself needs a lot of maturity. So Swamiji used to say, so this shloka is not to ridicule sannyasa, but to say that just outward change is not enough. It's not actually necessary also. You can be at home and still pursue and study. That is what Shankara means. So we'll continue with everything else, other shlokas in the next class. Om स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम।